Senior High School On-Air Academy. Unstoppable! Delivering you quality education amidst pandemic.
To defer school opening to October 5.
Unstoppable!
Giving you accessible learning platform anytime, anywhere.
Ang klase, whatever form it is.
Comprehensible!
Buckle up and get yourself ready.
I will repeat, then you will do it later on.
Accurate!
The sphere that includes all living things.
Today, we'll be talking about rational functions.
Simplify.
This is Jaw speaking. How may I help you?
This is the School Radio's Senior High School On-Air Academy.
And now, here's your new episode for
Pen and Pages.
your guide for the subject reading and writing skills. Pen and Pages.
Pen and Pages.
Tayo na sa Radyo Eskwela. Tayo na!
Education is the first step for people to gain the knowledge, critical thinking, empowerment, and skills they need to make this world a better place. What a wonderful day, grade 11 learners! You are tuned in to Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela. I am grateful that you are with me today in our reading and writing episode. I am your radio teacher, Teacher Emma Luisa, and I will be guiding you today. Let's get started.
All right.
Okay, to begin, let's have a short review. Do you remember the topic last meeting? Very good. It's coherence and cohesion. Coherence is the quality of being logical and well-organized. The details of a coherent paragraph follow a certain logical order. The connections between the ideas are reinforced by transitional devices. On the other hand, cohesion refers to the unity of ideas in a paragraph. Every detail in a paragraph should support the main idea. Alright, this time, let's check your quiz last meeting. Check your answers honestly.
Okay.
The sentences which do not belong to the paragraph are sentences number 3, 5, and 7. Did you get them all? Amazing! Those who got a perfect score, congratulations! And to others who didn't, you have more chances to catch up today. Oops! Before that, let's listen first to this reminder. Stay tuned!
Tayo na sa Radyo Eskwela. Tayo na!
Good day, my friends! Have you heard about the WOW against COVID-19? Let me tell you. WOW is an acronym which stands for W. Wash hands. O. Observe physical distancing. And W. Wear face mask and face shield. I hope you remember it. Let us always practice WOW. A message from the Department of Education, Department of Health, and this station.
Hey, hey, hey! We are back! Are you ready, learners?
Oh yeah.
Alright! Get ready to sail through the activity titled Spot the Difference. Listen to the following sentences and I'd like you to take note of their differences. First sentence. We asked the class president to call the teacher and get her permission for us to continue our research. And the second one, we requested the class president to contact the teacher and obtain her permission for us to continue our research. I repeat the sentences. First sentence. We asked the class president to call the teacher and get her permission for us to continue our research. And the second one, We requested the class president to contact the teacher and obtain her permission for us to continue our research. Did you note the difference?
Yay!
Wow, that's awesome! Now, in the first sentence, casual words were used such as ask, call, and get permission, which made the sentence informal. While in the second sentence, more formal words were used, such as requested instead of asked, contact instead of call, and obtain permission instead of get permission, which made the sentence formal. You're really great learners! How about the words that should begin in a capital letter? Which among the words in the given sentence? Correct! It is the word we, capital letter W, the beginning of the sentence. From these examples and questions, what do you think is the topic in this episode, grade 11? And that is right! We are going to learn about language use and mechanics in writing. So, may I hear a loud yes from you? Grade 11, are you now ready?
Yes, ma'am.
That's great! You are really cool!
Oh yeah!
Now, let us discuss first what is language use. Precisely! It is one of the clearest indicators of a well-written text. It enables writers to effectively communicate ideas without confusing the reader. When it pertains to language use, we consider the following. First, formal versus informal language. Second, familiar, direct, and simple language. Third, biased and unbiased language. And fourth, gender-neutral language.
Okay!
Let's start with formal versus informal language. Informal language is used in personal texts meant for family, friends, and colleagues. This makes use of casual, common, and even slang words. For example, when you send emails or text messages to friends and family members close to your age, this is usually the type of language used. Say, hey, dude, you. GBU for God bless you. OTW for on the way. Can you think of other examples? I know you have thought a lot of examples. What about formal language? Yes, formal language is used in academic, business, and official texts. Standard or academic are widely accepted words and phrases found in books, magazines, and newspapers. For instance, note to a professor, I missed last night's class and will email my paper later. Meanwhile, business or technical are scientific terms, jargon, and special expressions. Example, psychiatrists report. Dissociative rage order is not indicated by the ER assessment. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. Let us proceed to the next one. A communicator must make sure appropriate language for the target audience is used. Choosing to write or speak using familiar, direct, and simple language rather than in a complicated one will allow the audience to more clearly understand the message. Do you have any idea, learners, about the difference of familiar, direct, and simple language? Brilliant! Familiar language makes use of words commonly found in everyday life. It often coincides with informal language, as both can be heard or read on a regular basis. For example, good morning is something you might hear every day instead of saying top of the morning to you, which means the same thing but is far less likely to be heard today. While direct language makes use of words that get straight to the point. For example, saying, I don't want to eat in that restaurant is direct, while I'm not sure I'd really appreciate eating in that restaurant is indirect. And when we say simple language, it is like familiar language, as it makes use of words that are commonplace and easy to understand. But here, to keep your language simple, you should avoid highfalutin words and complicated turns of phrase. For example, I like her. She's very friendly. Is much simpler than saying, I am quite taken with her. She has an amiable disposition. Get it, grade 11?
Alright.
Alright, let us proceed to biased and unbiased language. Any idea? Great! Unbiased language uses names or labels a particular group chose for themselves, does not mention qualifiers, unnecessary, and avoid insults, while biased language uses offensive words, insults, and judgmental terms. The message must be free of any stereotype of ethnicity, religion, political interest, social class, and the like. Of equal importance, one must avoid using slurs or pejorative language. A responsible communicator must be sensitive enough to avoid offensive remarks toward an individual or particular group of people. This can be achieved by writing in unbiased language. Here are some tips to ensure that you are using unbiased language. First, use names or labels that individual or groups choose for themselves. Therefore, you must carefully assess your audience. For example, the local school has accepted half-breeds for years now to increase its population. Half-breed is offensive word for a person whose parents are of different races. A more polite expression is a person of mixed race. Second, do not mention group membership unnecessarily. If a person's affiliation is not relevant to your point, do not mention it. Example: the Asian first grade English teacher gave fewer assignments than my second grade English teacher did. The use of the qualifier Asian is not necessary in the comparison of the two teachers. It suggests racial bias. Third, be aware of words that certain groups of people find negative or offensive and avoid using them. This include racist, sexist, ableist, homophobic, and others. The government has opened a new clinic for the disabled. Using the collective term the disabled to refer to people with disabilities is considered offensive, as it reduces the person to only his or her disabilities. The word disabled should be used as an adjective rather than a noun. Crystal clear, learners?
Oh yeah!
That's really awesome. Down to the last one. Any idea? Right! Another form of unbiased language is gender-neutral language. Let us differentiate gender-neutral and gender-biased language. Gender-neutral is not biased for either men or women and avoid using masculine and feminine terms and pronouns. On the other hand, gender-biased language is biased for one gender and uses sexist phrases and words. Remember this, class. A communicator should be careful not to favor a certain gender when constructing sentences. Study the following sentences. Notice the differences in language use. Each intern should record daily what he learns in the workplace. Each intern should record daily what he or she learns in the workplace. In the first sentence, the pronoun he is used, even though an intern could also be female. The use of a masculine pronoun to refer to a common noun used to be a common practice. However, such usage is no longer acceptable at present, as it shows bias against women. On the other hand, the second sentence shows no bias in gender. The pronouns he and she are used to recognize both genders. Are you following, learners?
Yes, ma'am!
Very good! Can you say hooray if you are still with me?
Hooray!
Alright, let's discuss mechanics this time. Did you read in advance?
Oh yeah!
Cool! Mechanics refer to a set of conventions on how to spell, abbreviate, punctuate, and capitalize. There are 4 things we need to note here: spelling, punctuation, capitalization, and the use of boldface, italics, and underline. Who among you loves joining the spelling bee contest? Aha! That's really great! Let us tackle spelling first. The standard spelling of words is fundamental in learning a language. Misspelled words can easily create disorder. They distract the reader from understanding the text. On the other hand, spelling words correctly avoids confusion. It makes communication and reading easier. It is good to know the correct spelling of words by heart. Nonetheless, you can consult the dictionary to check the spelling of a particular word. Here are some tips on proper spelling. First, there are slight differences between the American English and the British English spellings. For example, in American English, the word color is spelled as letter C, O, L, O, R. And in British English, it is spelled as letter C, O, L, O, U, R. Thus, whether you write using the American or British spelling of words, be consistent in spelling. And if unsure of the spelling of a word, Consult a dictionary or a spell checker. Second, there are English words that have variant or alternate spellings, which are acceptable. Usually, the main entry word in a dictionary shows the standard spelling, and the variant spellings of the word are indicated. For convenience and consistency, use the spelling of the entry word. For example, for the entry word in dictionary, the word acknowledgement is spelled as letter A, C, K, N, O, W, L, E, D, G, M, E, N, T. And in its variant spelling, it is letter A, C, K, N, O, W, L, E, D, G, E, M, E, N, T. The third one, words with the letters I and E succeeding each other, such as receive, receipt, and deceive, are commonly misspelled. Remember then this simple rule: I before E except after C. This may help you remember the correct spelling of those words. The fourth one, in adding prefixes to words, the spelling of the root word does not change. Examples are the words like misspelled, unnecessary, and dissatisfied. Fifth, be aware of words with double letters and silent letters and remember their correct spellings. English words with double letters are often misspelled. Lastly, there are English words that contain silent letters, which are not pronounced when the words are read. Be aware of those words and remember their correct spellings. Here are some words with silent consonants. Silent D for the word doubt, death, subtle. Silent C for the word ascend, descend, and convalescent. You get it, grade 11?
Hooray!
Nice! Now, for the second one, what is a punctuation? Brilliant! Punctuation is a system of symbols used to give structure to a text. It guides the reader on how the text should be read. Using correct punctuation adds clarity to a text. Here is an example. Sharon dedicated her life to dancing. She applied to different dance companies to develop her art. Sharon dedicated her life to dancing. Period. She applied to different dance companies to develop her art. What did you observe, learners? Great! The first sentence is a run-on sentence. There is no proper punctuation between the two independent clauses. An independent clause is a clause with a complete thought and can stand alone as a sentence. On the other hand, the second sentence is the correct way of writing the run-on sentence. A period is used to separate the independent clauses and turn them into full sentences. What are the two independent clauses in the sentence? Incredible! First, Sharon dedicated her life to dancing. Second, she applied to different dance companies to develop her art. Is the explanation clear, learners?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, you are really amazing.
All right.
Cool! How do you write your names? Is it all capital letters or small letters? Yes, a combination of capital letters and small letters. That means you have already used the next topic on mechanics, capitalization. Any idea? Great! Capitalization is writing the first letter of a word in uppercase, while the rest of the letters of the word are in lowercase. It helps in deciphering the meaning of the words. If proper nouns are not capitalized, for instance, their meanings can change, and this can lead to misunderstanding. I believe you have already encountered this in your previous years as a student. Alright, you're really doing well. Now, let us proceed to the last one, the use of boldface, italics, and underline. These are the 3 ways to emphasize words in writing. Any idea? The boldface is commonly used on the following: A. Important words in a sentence or a paragraph. In short paragraphs, the word being defined is emphasized by setting it in boldface. B. Or the second one, news headlines and the titles of news and magazine articles. And the third one, headings of paragraphs, tables, and charts. How about italics? The italics are frequently used on the following. First, title of books and other long literary texts. Second, foreign words. Third, important words in a sentence or a paragraph. And fourth, inner thoughts or memory flashbacks in literary texts. Lastly, underlined. Before word processors were invented, underlining used to be the most common form of emphasis for written texts. Today, the most common underlined text in a paragraph is a web address, the location of a website on the internet. Did you understand, learners?
Oh, yeah.
And there you have it, grade 11. We are done discussing. Are you still with me?
Yes, ma'am.
You are really wonderful. Since you listened well, give yourselves a big, big hand. Now, let's have a short recap of our discussion. What are the 4 things we need to remember when we talk about language use? You are really great! Formal versus informal language. Familiar, direct, and simple language. Biased and unbiased language. And gender-neutral language. How about the things we must take note when we talk about mechanics in reading and writing? Amazing! These are spelling, punctuation, capitalization, and the use of boldface, italics, and underline. Hooray! Stay put for some reminders. Walang mang-iiwan. We will be back.
Tayo na sa Radyo Eskwela.
Tayo na!
Now that we are in the new normal, Let us practice new things. Observe social and physical distancing at all times. Disinfect our things. Let our temperature be checked. Always wash our hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizers. Avoid crowded places. And always wear your face mask and face shield. Always remember these things because health is wealth. Let us beat COVID-19. A reminder from the Department of Health, Department of Education, and this station.
There you go, learners! I know you are now ready to do your activity. Before we begin, be sure you are holding your pen and paper. Lend me your ears because I'll be reading to you an excerpt from a news and answer the questions that follow. Write the letter of your answer. Let's start! Philippines welcomes the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines via COVAX facility. March 4, 2021, Joint News Release, Manila. Today, more than 480,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines arrived in the Philippines from the COVAX facility, the international partnership established to ensure equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines around the world. The Philippines is among the first countries in Southeast Asia to receive vaccines from the COVAX facility. COVAX is co-led by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the World Health Organization, and the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, working in partnership with the UNICEF as well as the World Bank, civil society organizations, manufacturers, and others. Is it clear, dear learners?
Yes, ma'am.
Here are the questions. Number 1. What is the language used in the news? Letter A. Informal language. Letter B. Formal language. Letter C. Both A and B. Number 2. In the sentence, today, more than 480,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines arrived in the Philippines. Which word should start with capital letter? Letter A. Vaccines and Philippines. Letter B. Doses and vaccines. Letter C. Philippines and AstraZeneca. Number 3. COVAX is co-led by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the World Health Organization, and the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, working in partnership with UNICEF as well as the World Bank, civil society organizations, manufacturers, and others. What language was used in the sentence? Letter A. Familiar language. Letter B. Direct language. Letter C. Simple language. Now, number 4. From the news read, which should be written boldface? Letter A. The Philippines is among the first countries in the Southeast Asia to receive vaccines from the COVAX facility. Letter B. Philippines welcomed the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines via COVAX facility. Letter C. COVAX is co-led by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the World Health Organization, and the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. And number 5, upon hearing the news, what is the importance of writing words using the correct spelling? Letter A. Spelling correctly stimulates clearer communication of information. Letter B. Spelling words correctly adds confusion. Letter C. It is good to know the correct spelling of words by heart. Hooray! We are done with our quiz. We will check your answers on our next episode. I hope you have answered the questions correctly. And that ends our lesson in this episode, my dear learners. I hope you learned much today. For more exciting learning episodes, don't miss our next episodes. Always tune in to Radyo Eskwela, your school away from school. Together with the whole SDO Isabela RBI production team, this is your script writer and the radio teacher, Teacher Emma Luisa M. Fernando, saying, aim high and soar higher, for all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Be safe!
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!